Welcome to the Solemn Tones podcast. Today we are going totally off script yet again. This is more so of me rambling about something really interesting I've been noticing, and that is workflow optimization. And now, this might sound like a super boring topic, but it's actually the very reason that people choose to do or not do stuff. I believe it is at the base of your motivation or demotivation. Now, what do I mean? The second you always know what you have to do. There is never a moment where you're like, oh, whoa, I really want to work, but I don't know what to do. Because generally you can always Google what you should be doing. You can always YouTube what you should be doing. You can look at other people that did what you want to achieve already, and then you can see what their workflow was and so forth. So generally, we always know what to do, but there are these slight increments, slight actions we need to take before we can start doing something that stop us from doing them altogether. Let me give an example that I had today. I had to record a video, a piece of content, and now in the room here, the light sucks ass, actually, for video and stuff, at least if you wanted to look somewhat high definition, let's say. And so I have this big studio light. The thing is, it's really annoying to actually take it from one room to the next because it's so big and you have to push it through a door, and it's at least 2 minutes of annoyance. And that isn't much. Let's be rational. That's nothing. But that one action is annoying enough for me to try to not do it naturally. By default, my body doesn't want me to do it. And there are many tiny things like this that push us into inaction. That is also why so many people are addicted to binge watching stuff, because it's so easy. Sites like YouTube are optimized for you to be able to watch something with the least amount of friction. The first time you sign up to YouTube, you get the most random popular stuff thrown at you on the feed. But then the second you watch a video and you keep watching it, the algorithm learns. And really quickly, it catches on what you actually like and starts giving you that content on the feed and in the recommended list and so forth. And just like that, you only get that kind of content and you can just binge watch without any friction. And it is that friction that we need to get rid of in actually interesting, productive actions we have to take. For example, when I was young, I actually understood this already, but then probably not as consciously. And so I wanted to get better at guitar. And I started noticing when my guitar, it was an Ibanez Zyphos, was in its case, it would be way more annoying for me to start because I would have to take the case, bring it to a room, open the case, take the guitar out, put a cable in, and so forth. And all these little actions were annoying enough for me to not automatically take the guitar and start playing. And so what I did was I bought one of those hangers, for guitars. I put it right next to my desk, hung the guitar on it, and just like that, it was only half a meter away from me at all times. I could always start playing. And what do you know? I started playing way more. So that is one example of how a slight change in your setup can completely change how easy something becomes, and then how much easier it becomes for you to start working on said thing. So one thing that I actually still have to do is, by default, I always use key switches. Well, not really key switches. Let's say key commands, to control your DAW or some other film editing program. And I bind them to my mouse. However, my Logic has had this bug lately where it would forget my key commands. And suddenly, I don't like producing as much anymore because it's really annoying to have to manually click on blade and on pointer and so forth. And this is a really basic thing that I just should quickly fix, but that quickly fixing still takes some minutes and is annoying, and that is making me produce less. This is something I know and now have to tackle. And so there are so many of these tiny things that we don't realize are holding us back because they are pushing us into inaction on the most important levels. And so that's just something I want you to think about. If you're maybe not always working on the most important stuff and you feel like you waste a lot of time, try considering how easy it is for you to waste time, like what levels of friction are between you and time wasting, and what levels of friction are between you and the important things. Because do realize, a human being only has so much energy every day. It is pretty easy to say, oh, I'm not eating badly because, let's say, everything else is going great in life. But the second you start dealing with loads of shit and you have to work and blah, 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 it becomes easier and easier to just grab that candy bar instead of, let's say, a protein shake or something. Because it's hard to make the better decision. And so, yeah, it is actually pretty random that I just said that, but it's still pretty interesting to realize you have a limited amount of energy. And so the more annoying choices you have to make in your day, the harder it becomes to make the right choices. So, as I said before, taking out the case, bringing the case into the room, opening the case, taking the guitar, all those tiny choices are an energy drain, which then takes away motivation. So that's just something I want you to think about. That was it for this episode of today. You should check out if there's any of this kind of friction in, whether it's your video recording or your audio recording, your editing maybe, even your marketing. Let's say posting stories is what used to be very annoying because you had to post to Snapchat and then to Instagram and then to Facebook. Now lately there's a few automations for this, and so all these things matter. I tell you to look into them. I am still trying to make them way better on my end as well. And hope you found it interesting. I will see you soon. Ciao.